Hey everyone, happy Sunday. It's April 7th, 2019, and you are watching Sunday Night Soul Time, and I'm so glad that you are, and I'm so glad that you're here, because we're going to talk about something really important tonight. You know, last week we spent a lot of time talking about joy and how to take responsibility for the joy you feel, the bliss you feel every day, and consciously allowing yourself to do things that feel joy and that make you happy. And prior to that, we've spent so much time talking about just being aware and conscious of our limiting beliefs, of the way that our thoughts, feelings, and emotions are shaping our reality. And by doing so, claiming and owning our authentic power. It's by becoming aware, becoming conscious, and then consciously choosing to feel more joyful, consciously choosing not to project negative thoughts into the future. And so tonight, what I've really felt guided to share and to talk with you about is self-love and self-forgiveness. These are two really important topics, and they're talked about so much. I feel it's sometimes that we actually forget how important they are. You know, there's almost like there's so much information out there that it can feel overwhelming, and you can forget to have awareness of just simple things and simple ways that you're stepping out of alignment with self-love or self-forgiveness. And so I want to talk a little bit about the importance of it, you know, what it is, and then some tips. So without true self-love, without forgiveness of yourself for everything you've ever done or anyone you've ever harmed, it's really hard to live a life of joy and fulfillment. It's really hard. It's hard to step into your soul purpose and to doing something that brings you joy every day and being paid to do it. It's really hard to have truly deep, meaningful relationships, whether they're love relationships or friendships. It pretty much permeates everything. When you don't have a healthy self-love, self-respect, you know, treating yourself as your most cherished friend or loved one. And the ways that we step out of alignment with this are pretty insidious. One, we tend not to forgive ourselves for really simple things. You know, we tend to beat ourselves up. We tend to have a lot of negative thoughts and emotions and feelings about ourselves. We tend to look in the mirror, particularly as women, and beat ourselves up for what we see. We tend to not just accept ourselves and love ourselves for who we are. And so self-love really starts at the core, and that's what we're going to do tonight in a beautiful meditation, with forgiving yourself for everything that you've ever done that you think is wrong, for all the ways that you think you've harmed others, but more importantly, for not being some version of yourself that you think you need to be. It's about acceptance. It's about deep, abiding acceptance. But it's also a conscious daily practice of self-love. And the most insidious way, and you know, definitely ties to everything we've been talking about so far, is the thoughts and feelings that you direct towards yourself every day. First, being aware of those, being conscious of those, and when you are stepping into self-punishment, self-abuse, self-criticism, to pause and redirect that, to pause and redirect that. And so I say, how many times a day do you beat yourself up because you didn't do something right or you made a mistake? Big or small mistakes, it doesn't matter. You know, how many times a day do you look in the mirror and truly say to yourself, I love you, via how you're thinking about yourself, how you're observing yourself, or just truly making the conscious effort? And this is a practice that I used to do a long time. It's a Louise Hay teaching, for those of you familiar with her, is really looking at myself in the mirror and making eye contact and telling myself, I love you. That can be incredibly powerful. So it's kind of like three phases, if you will. It's stopping the punishment, you know, forgiving ourselves, two, And then 3, consciously practicing self-love with ourselves. And yes, you can do nice things with yourself. You can do self-care, like getting yourself a massage or taking time to meditate or just nourishing your body, eating healthy, good foods, exercising. But I think, and what I want to spend a little bit of time talking about is the first one, because that's the most insidious. And half the time, if not more, we're not even aware of the thoughts that are on repeat that are so negative about ourselves. And so it can start with the morning. When you wake up, are you already in that self-punishment mode? Like, oh my God, you woke up late. Oh, you're not going to get there in time, whatever it is. Or do you start from a place waking up in the morning and go, welcome to another day. I love you. Some kind of rewarding, loving feeling about yourself. Do you give yourself time in the morning to ease into the day as best you can? And I know it's hard, especially when you have little kids and, your family, but do you find ways that you can make it easy, or do you set yourself up to struggle from the start? How are you with being kind to yourself in terms of how you manage your own time, or where you set boundaries, or what you give yourself permission to do, and also at the same time not do? When you do something amazing, do you tell yourself you're amazing? I used to take this yoga class all the time, and the teacher, he would have us do this. He would have us wrap our arms around ourselves, squeeze ourselves, and say, you're the best. I love you. And again, I know some of this sometimes can feel really cheesy, but the action of doing these kinds of things of self-care are tenfold. I can't even tell you how much they will change your life. And so, what I leave with you tonight, of the most part, what I really want you to take away is start to have awareness throughout the day, from the start of the day to when you go to bed, how you're treating yourself via the thoughts you're having about yourself, literally the way you talk to yourself. Do you ever say things like, oh my God, you're so stupid? I used to do that one a lot. Or, lots of unkind words when I'd look in the mirror. But to start to be able to change that kind of behavior, you first need to come into awareness of where you're at in your own self-love. And you may feel, and this may be true, I felt this way for a long time, where I practice a lot of self-love. I allow myself to go get massages. I go on great vacations. But the most detrimental and common way to really punish yourself is that talk. And we're actually so unconscious to it and so used to it that there's a very good chance you probably don't even have a deep awareness right now for the way that you direct energy at yourself throughout the day. So that's the number one thing I would love, if you want to start to try to have awareness for this week. And like the past weeks where I said, set yourself calendar reminders to observe your thoughts, feelings you're just having about your life in general, whether you're in negative thoughts or positive thoughts. You can do the same thing. You can do 3 calendar invites to yourself every day. And when you get those calendar invites, you'll know to pause, and you're going to review, and you're going to be like, how have I been treating myself today via my thoughts, my feelings about myself, And, number 1, you don't want to be having negative thoughts or feelings, but observe that. And then number 2, how much positive thoughts and feelings have I been sending myself today? Have I been telling myself that I think I'm pretty wonderful? When I nailed that presentation, did I tell myself, good job? You're amazing. You're so smart. You're so eloquent. Good job. Well done. So it's not just about stopping the negative self-talk and self-punishment. It's also about consciously sending yourself positive thoughts and positive feelings. And so here are 3 things that you can start to practice. So I told you the calendar invites. That's number 1. I would send yourself 3 calendar invites a day. And what I would do is when you get those, you pause and you do a quick review of like the day so far. And you think, have I been thinking positive or negative thoughts about myself? Whichever's fine. In that moment, choose to just allow it to be what it was. And then in that moment, consciously tell yourself something wonderful about yourself. Consciously send yourself love via wonderful thought, feeling, squeeze yourself, do the I love you in that moment. So 3 times a day, you're going to take inventory of what you've been doing. Whatever it is, you're going to let it go and it's going to be fine. And then you're going to consciously send yourself some love in that moment. The second thing is forgiving yourself on a regular basis. In tonight's meditation, we're going to go deep into that. But choosing at the end of each day, I forgive myself for everything I perceive I did wrong today. So the second tip is forgive yourself every single day. Make it a practice to forgive yourself every single day. And I think the perfect time to do that is at the end of the day. I forgive myself for any perceived wrongs to myself today. I love myself just as I am. I know I'm perfect just as I am. I know I'm doing the best I can. And I choose to forgive myself today. So again, number 1, the 3 pauses and sending yourself love in those 3 moments. Number 2, forgive yourself at the end of each day. And number 3, and this is a practice I've been doing for a long time, is writing yourself a love letter. Write yourself a love letter, once a quarter, right? Once every few months. I started doing this years ago, and it is such a powerful healing tool. I talk about this one actually a lot in my book. And what happened for me is when I started writing myself love letters, I started really getting a deeper insight into what needed to be healed within me and thoughts and beliefs I had about myself I wasn't even aware of, because so much of this can be unconscious. So try that practice and see if it works for you. And the practice is you just write, dear, in my case, Jessica, and you let flow what needs to flow, but intend it to be a love letter to yourself. Intend that and see what happens there. So again, the 3 tips. 1, send yourself 3 invites a day. And in those moments, pause, take some inventory so you have conscious awareness of how you've been treating yourself mentally, emotionally. And pause in that moment and send yourself love. Hug yourself. Tell yourself you're wonderful. Say to yourself, I love you. Go look in a mirror. Look in your eyes and say, I love you. 2, forgive yourself at the end of each day. 3, write yourself love letters. Write yourself 4 love letters a year. If you want to write yourself a love letter every week, do that too. Especially to start, it could be really healing. And so that's it. I felt really guided to talk about this tonight because we're starting to really talk about, we've done a lot of fear removal and pulling out all the different ways that you're just allowing unconscious thoughts to take away your authentic power. We're starting to now talk about more joy. And so this was a really important message for me to share with you tonight as we continue our work together and step into this. Okay, so now it's time to meditate. As always, if you're not somewhere with privacy where you won't be disturbed, pause the video, go find that place now. Wonderful. And again, I advise don't lay down, but you don't need to be sitting up in a meditative, position. Just be comfortable. You can be propped up on your bed. You can just be sitting in a chair with your feet on the ground. All of that is okay. Okay. And so here we go. So close your eyes with me now. Great. And we're just going to do some deep breaths together. So breathe in through your nose and release. Breathe in through your nose and release. And breathe in through your nose and release. And I just want you to start to notice your breath and just breathe with me quietly. Good. And just start to kind of feel yourself relaxing. Just decide to let go. Let go of everything that no longer serves. Really settle into your body, into this moment. Just feel yourself starting to connect with your heart, your oneness, your infinite potential, the love and light that you truly are. And I want you to imagine with me, but there's a beautiful golden ball of light about 100 feet above your head. I want you to just imagine that you're rising up to meet this light. And as you do, the top of your head, your crown chakra, opens like a beautiful lotus flower. And this energy just starts to pour in, this love, this light. And this energy is going to clear away all self-punishment, all self-criticism, all the ways in which you've been unkind to yourself, and all inclinations to continue to be unkind to yourself. And it's just going to release this, and it's going to start to fill you with self-love and light as it enters in your mind, down your throat, helping you feel empowered to speak your truth, down your shoulders, your arms, down your chest, opening your heart. And as it opens your heart, it releases all past pain and trauma that's feeling a lack of self-love, a lack of self-forgiveness. And it goes down your stomach, opening all your chakras there, your power. And it just floods your womb center, which is your sacral chakra, which is all about self-love, self-worth. And it's just going to flood this area, your whole stomach. You'll feel it in your belly, filling you with self-love, self-worth. And just take this in and say to yourself, I love myself. I deserve to be loved. I am worthy of love. I practice self-love every single day. And the energy now flows down your legs, out the bottom of your feet, and it goes down into the center of the earth through all the layers, all the soil, everything. And it reaches the center of the earth where it meets a beautiful white light that is oneness, consciousness, the frequency of love itself. And just feel your absolute oneness with this love and light now as it bounces back up and comes back up into the center of your feet. And this light aligns you deeper with self-love now, with the frequency of love. And it comes up your legs into your knees, all the way up, and it comes back into your heart, and it just starts to pour out your heart and surrounding you in 360 degrees. And now you're in a beautiful golden ball of light, and you're just sitting in this, being nurtured and loved. And now you're just going to expand this light and just really allow yourself to heal. And so send this light out to cover the room you're in, the home or building you're in, the entire city you're in. Just feel your expansiveness, the state you're in, the country you're in. Send it out to cover the entire planet and just feel your oneness, your expansiveness in this moment as we go through a beautiful self-forgiveness exercise now. And as we do, I want you to start to feel a beautiful pink energy. Just starts to come in, and it starts to enter your aura and your space. And this pink frequency of love just starts to swirl around you. And it starts to just unlock and release anything that's not in alignment with self-love. Any past transgressions you feel you've caused, any tendency to criticize and punish yourself. It's just releasing this all now. And it's just filling you up with so much self-love. Just feel the love you're being filled up with now until you feel that you're just sitting in like a huge pink bubble of light, filling you, really removing all the blocks in your heart that tell you it's not okay to love yourself, or that is just used to being unkind to yourself, that learned it somewhere possibly. All the ways you didn't love yourself as a kid, the way you beat yourself up, and just this light and beautiful pink energy is going everywhere that needs to be healed within you to align you with deeper self-love, deeper self-love. And I want you to just take this in now and just say to yourself, I choose to forgive myself for everything I've done before this moment in time. Whether perceived or real, I am completely releasing the past now. I forgive myself. I deserve to be forgiven, and I give this gift to myself right now in this moment. And just feel that. Feel yourself releasing and letting go all past pain, trauma, all perceived transgressions towards yourself or others, and you are starting fresh and starting new right now. And we're going to ask 3 things, patterns, beliefs, or actual things that happen that you're just holding on to in connection to self-forgiveness that you're ready to release and let go of. And so I'm going to ask you, your higher self, to just bring forward, what is the one thing that you most need to forgive yourself for that is blocking you from stepping into your highest potential and highest light? And so we're going to bring that forward. You might just feel it be like a dark cloud. It might be an experience you remember, or it might be a behavioral pattern. You know, you always criticize your weight. Whatever it is, just bring this thing forward. What does I most need to forgive myself for? Where do I most need to practice self-forgiveness? And if you don't see or perceive anything, that's okay. You're still receiving benefit. And we're going to cut the cord that you have attached into this pattern, past experience, whatever it is, thing that you most would be helpful to you to practice forgiveness for. And so imagine you have like a cord that you're linked into it, you're holding on to it. And today and right now, we're going to let that go. And so on the count of 3, we're going to cut that cord. And on a count of 3 and a breath, 1, 2, 3, breathe in with me and release. And that cord is cut. And whatever this is that you've just let go of it, it is just being dissolved into the light. Release, 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 release. And that pink energy just floods this area where that cord was, and you are now lifted into higher self-love and forgiveness and light. And then we'll do one more. What is one more way, experience, belief pattern, one more way I can most forgive myself right now? Maybe it's something that you did once to one of your kids, your partner, or maybe it's just a pattern that you want to get rid of. Whatever it is, bring it forward. And again, if you don't perceive anything specific, it's okay. Just imagine the feeling of it and the energy of it. And again, we'll release this, and we'll do it on a count of 3 and a breath. 1, 2, 3, breathe in with me and release. And the cord connected to that is cut and severed. And now all this pink light just floods your entire being and aura and just releases any kind of areas where you need to release any forgiveness, lack of self-love, punishment, or otherwise. And just imagine this swirling around you and cleansing you and lifting you into a beautiful vibration of self-love and self-respect and self-forgiveness. And just feel that now. And just take in these affirmations. I choose to forgive myself every single day. I choose to love myself always. It's okay to put myself and my needs first. It is okay to tell myself I love myself and to do it with joy. I cherish myself. I cherish my mind, my body, my emotions, my dreams, my thoughts, my desires, my talents. Everything about me is miraculous and perfect. And I own, love, and accept that today. Today is a new forward. I move forward completely anew into true self-love, self-forgiveness, for I am worth it. I am worth it. And now just start to come back, start to kind of wiggle your toes and your feet. And let's just do some deep grounding breaths to really anchor this in. And so breathe in with me and release. And breathe in again and release. And once more, breathe in and release. And now you can just open your eyes and rejoin me. Welcome back. I hope you're feeling amazing. Drink lots of water. You know, you still might kind of be processing some emotions and things that comes up. If you feel sad, that's good. That means you're healing something. It's really great. And you know what? Tomorrow's anew. So I hope you received something out of this. You can always watch it again. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And I hope you all have a beautiful week. And I will see you next week. Okay, bye-bye for now.